a shape syntax this week anyways. Okay, and it's not going to be quite straightforward, everything in the same format. What I mean by that is, when you think about it, how do you control two-dimensional beam in one parameter? You need to at least have 2 parameters to constrain it, or maybe more. When it comes to floor space ratio,
ta-da!
ta-da! Do you have a present as well?
Jeez, so greedy.
Yep.
So I missed the first few minutes there. Is it
Nothing more than. So what I wanted you to do is to convert that to 3D as a metric section into a shape syntax that we just learned today. So your consideration will include last week's teaching content. So you need to think about how you parametricize the setbacks, the building height, and maybe floor-to-floor height as well.
okay?
Yeah, it's really up to your design, how detailed this can be. But don't worry too much about people spacing or all of that for now.
Do you want them in 2D or 3D?
Do you have 3D?
Yeah, probably.
I know, I'm too greedy.
3D people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 3D people. But they're hidden away in Dihansafitit. I can't even say his last name. He's got a crazy last name.
Yeah, maybe we'll make 2D out of the 3D people and.
Yeah, or you can just make them a silhouette. Like you can just render it from Rhino.
Yeah, that sounds good. It'll be fun.
3D people. Low poly people.
That sounds fine enough. Andrew, can you turn on the PDF for the students to reference to the image?
This PDF?
No, there's 3 ephemetric syntax.
I don't want to give you too crazy a peep. Like they can be really heavy.
Yeah. Discuss maybe just cellulose be fine.
Huh?
The outline up there.
Well, yeah, they're here.
Yeah.
There's some people.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it should be good enough to start with the server. Thank you. Guys, this is going to be a very big test for me as well. I don't usually talk and code at the same time.
Are you doing shape syntax to buildings?
I'm trying. Would it fail?
Just do you want to just do the graphic part?
I was going to ask them to merge these two together.
Yeah, maybe let's do if you just do the graphic part, just mass up something. Because I think these guys can work out the shape syntax stuff with the building. Like we've just done it for roads.
Yeah.
Let's go through maybe the graphical thing, because I'm not sure if they've actually done graphics like this before. Have you done graphics like this before?
No.
Yeah, let's do the graphics part, man.
Okay, that's a hard one. Thanks for the challenge.
No problem.
Okay, let me think how it well, without actually writing it. How do we do that? Okay, let's mess it up. Where is the street section I'm looking at? Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back.
Sidewalk.
This one.
See the sidewalk there? See the road? Does the road look 3D?
Yeah, it's probably very low resolution road, but
yeah, you can just basically draw dots.
yeah.
So this. That's all you need to do to represent it like this. But you still need a section, right?
Yeah.
So in this format, you just need lines to represent where those height changes are. Cool? But you can also
You
use
could.
it 3D.
Yeah, let's do it at a reasonably high level of detail. So let's include the level changes. So when there is a change in level, you can actually see a shadow in the rendered view. That'll be quite cool to see.
Rhino?
Sorry?
In Rhino? Like,
In
to represent the
Rhino.
shadow.
Yes, look, some basics here. Let's just pretend this is this is gonna be building 1, and probably a self as well. Just draw something really random, and let's put rendered view on. Your render view sucks. It needs quite a few.
Just reset it.
Yeah, I need to reset. Are you fine if I reset it?
Okay.
Thank you. Just reset it.
Your render
Did you-
sucks.
Yeah, it sucks really. Probably quite a few things are taken differently here. So what we let me.
You might want to talk this through, man.
Sorry?
You might want to talk the students through what you're doing.
Yeah, let me check though. Network channel. That's fine. Let me check what's going on first. I have no clue why. This is
What do you expect to see?
ambient shadows.
Pardon?
Ambient shadows and not so strong shadows on side shaded faces like this one.
It's probably the environment.
The environment as
So guys, in the rendered view of Rhino, there's a few things that you can do to control how it looks. There's the environment. In this case, we're using a basic environment. It's using a studio view. So if I actually pick this guy and change his material, and just be mindful that I'm doing this just to show as a demonstration. You guys, this is a massive can of worms when it comes to teaching. But if I put up its reflectivity,
no.
yeah, it's almost like Rhino might not be running on my graphics
I
card.
reckon.
Let's just do this.
For the sidewalks and lanes, since I haven't drawn the script yet, I was just graphically like a thing of my own, just to sort of like represent the sidewalk and lanes.
Yeah, for now,
Yep.
for this class,
This one.
yeah.
Andrew, so the deadline for the first assignment will be next week.
It's not next. It'll be the week after next, but we will start the next assignment next week.
Okay.
Like, as in, we won't be doing stuff in class next week
Yeah.
for this assignment, but they'll have an extra week to work on it.
it.
Yeah.
But they have enough material to work on from this point.
Yeah,
supposedly.
definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Some of the most annoying
Are
things.
you going to reset your Rhino?
Yeah, I just started. I'm
Um,
gonna,
you can change that in the advanced options of the graphic cards.
I know, but this graphics card is because of what this computer does when it connects to a external graphics card, it does some really annoying things.
Alright. Oh, you have external graphic card.
Huh?
You have external graphic card.
Yes.
I'm jealous.
Which one?
The Core X. As in, that's the external case.
Oh, what's in it?
2080 RTX.
Wow.
Huh? That's what's in this.
But this is the mobile version, isn't it?
Well, I bought it like a year ago. That didn't exist.
Sounds expensive.
Huh? I didn't buy it. Someone else bought it.
I like where the conversation is going.
What do you mean? This is my work office. I mean, this is my work
If
computer.
it's too hard, I'm happy to use my own computer.
Yeah, but what I'm worried about is that this is recording,
Yeah.
and it's got the meeting on it as well.
Yeah.
So let me just bear with me.
Sure. In the meanwhile, I'll check your shape syntax and how much you've done with it. So, like Andrew mentioned, I'm happy to down dimension to just a sectional line of the building, and we can work out the rest later. So think about how the building height limit is, the step setback is, and also how you control the street surface, like the pedestrian zone. Maybe think about you want a dining strip as well. Like, you know, in some city areas, you have people to put their chairs and tables outside their cafe. It's actually permitted to be in a 2 or 3 meter step zone. And one example, I can't show you though, but we had in Parramatta. Have you guys been to Parramatta? Eat Street, where all the food is, also called Church Street, I think. Like, they want to put the Parramatta light rail track there in the middle of the East Street, but they have a lot of outdoor dining area, so they want to see how the train can operate safely when people are dining outside. Imagine your kid is running off to the street without you noticing while you're dining in the cafe, having a brunch, and the train might light rail might accidentally bump into it. So the decision they made
Accidentally.
is to what? Oh, intentionally? No, that's not gonna happen. Is to put a planter box of a certain height in the interface between the train tracks and dining street. So you're sort of in a protected environment in that sense. So does it make sense, Daniel? And
Just like a fence.
yeah, like a fence. And in other scenarios, you might just put the dining street back from the street interface. So it's actually next to the building instead of next to the light rail tracks. So that will work as well. So you start to see maybe you can alternate the locations of the dining strip and also the pedestrian pathways and also where the light rail tracks are. So it becomes a problem that you need several options, and think about how you can model these options in one shape syntax.
I think my ambient
Oh, looks
lights.
better.
It's just my ambient lights.
It's probably the reflectivity being too high.
No, I'm talking about the shadows.
Shadows is back.
Is what you're
already.
looking for? Is that what
Yeah.
you're looking for?
Yeah. And if you put color to white.
Huh?
The
What would you
color
like to
of the
make
material yeah, I think I can take it from here.
So there's these lights. Just change. You can play with their intensity.
Yeah.
Like if we turn off the sun, that's probably what you're looking for. There's
Yeah.
my skylight was off.
Yeah, more or less.
That's the only thing. The graphics card was still running.
Okay. So complex. I like it.
Welcome to my life. There's so many different things. What are you looking for?
It's like blurry on the top.
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
blurry,
it's
but it's
like
focused
a
on the
little
bottom right.
box.
I have like
But it's sort of
just do this on
yeah, it's on this
Okay.
How far?
Center focus.
There you go. Magic. It's almost working, isn't it? Cool. Okay. How far have we gone into the shape syntax?
0.
0?
I'm gonna say.
No one was doing it. I'm so happy about it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Literally, no one wants to talk about how you want to at least design the starting point for assignment. Getting feedbacks. No one
I'm still struggling to like,
understanding.
yeah, have it all working to even just like know what I need to do.
Okay, let me give you a little bit more help on this. Say, given that we already have a section showing like this one, how do we extrude and get a very rough, messy model out of this one? Okay. So now we have a beautiful rectangle. Let's go back to front. I'm gonna just draw a polyline to roughly represent a straight section that you will gonna generate for me. So maybe this is tower building. I'm not going to draw it on scale. And this is the podium. Podium is the big massive part of tower building. That is usually bigger that. Okay, I need to put a snap on what? Where's
It's under
yeah. Yeah.
smart track. Smart track.
I thought no should be yes.
You're ruining my rhino.
I know. Do I care?
Do you care?
Only if you ask. Okay. Okay. Way back. Okay. This is our building, right? And let's not go. Yeah. Let's probably just finish the building for now. And you got a street. I know it's gonna be graded, one way or another.
Don't worry about it.
And you're gonna get a curb. So hard. And you're gonna get a street at probably 0.3% grade on that. Oh, look, I'm so tired. Let's just mirror this one for now. Okay. And I don't know what happens if we extrude this one because it's been closed and we want it to be extruded in the same time with open curves. It could be a weird curve here.
Is solid on?
I think
Yeah,
solid is
yeah,
on.
it's Yeah, it's
So you got something like this, right? And I'm gonna just show. So now I'm gonna talk about the display mode here. I think many of you have already known what it is, but it's actually gonna be a good friend for you if you. So does it look similar? Almost similar to this one already. I think it's 95% similar now. So your good friend is here. You just want to adjust, fine-tune some of these parameters to make it prettier. I don't know if I'm gonna give you all my tricks here, but one of the tricks I'm usually using is to have a lavender sky and earthy, too much something. Probably okay. Let's do a slider instead. Sorry for changing so many things.
That's fine. I'm gonna mute this Jimmy
Okay.
Just reinstall Rhino.
I'm not sure if that will bring your Rhino back though.
I'm gonna delete my user profile. That'll bring it back.
Yeah. Just turn it down a little bit to get something a little bit more. Just get the color that you like, and that is not too saturated. The key of making beautiful graphics is not to have very saturated background, or otherwise it looks like Windows 95 or Windows 98. Okay, and then you want to think about what do you want to show here. Now you're showing. We don't want to show ISO curves for sure, but I think we should show the because it's rendered, you can't really show the outlines. an ambient shadow, which is really give you the depths of the model, which I strongly recommend. You can have more in detail settings here, so you can get more shadow qualities, so look more blurry, nicer, more shaded, but it will take up a lot of GPU computation power while you are spinning around. So you choose it carefully.
It's a 2080.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You can put on ray tracing.
Yeah, ray trace.
Are you guys?
No, it doesn't support it.
Well, it is ray tracing. Yeah,
Rhino doesn't have ray tracing.
it is ray. Well,
Not in the render.
let's just use the most basic. And you know what? I feel maybe we don't need render. We just go to shaded, and let's do this from scratch together. Well, and another thing I want to note to you is you can always restart default, and you can actually make copies of your display mode as well. So display mode here in Rhino options, you can just create a new one as you like. New mode. Okay. How do I change the name? Here. Name is Leo's Symmetric. And background, you could use the application setting, or you can change your own color. Let's just do it again for fun. Okay. Not too much, not too saturated color, and not too saturated color here as well. Okay. Why is it not showing my background correctly? Let's check. Because we didn't go to that mode. Let's go to Leo's.
It's there.
Set display.
It should be. It's in that list. Maybe at the bottom, probably.
Yeah. Is it not it's not showing. Weird, isn't it?
Use the drop down. It's there.
It's not Bill's.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Is the background correct for you now? Because my display settings might have custom background.
Yeah.
He's in Leo's shaded.
Why is it still asking
because
me?
you're in the command. That's fine.
No, I exited.
Yeah, now you're out.
But you know what? Let's just go with the easier ones. Yeah, it should work, but yeah, I'm on someone else's computer. Like
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
resisting you.
yeah, I know.
Good computer.
There is probably AI inside,
It's like
secretly resisting me.
yeah, that's what I believe. I believe if AI ever did exist properly, like became sentient, it wouldn't tell us.
Well, oh yeah.
We've got, I reckon we've got AI right now. You know how computers are like, hey, you've got a deadline in 1 hour? Fuck you. You know, I'm going to crash, and the printer's not going to work, and the internet's going to drop.
Oh,
I
that
reckon
sounds so familiar.
AI has become sentient and it's just sitting there being like,
That sounds so familiar. Oh, gosh, we shouldn't start this topic now.
Why?
Yeah,
because
that's
we've got not enough time, Leo.
no. We have more than enough time. I think I'm done teaching here. That's all I wanted to teach. That's already done. So yeah, I was going to get to this again, but looks like there is a little
What's the matter? What's going on?
there's little meaning in there. So let's just get these graphics right, and let me get you a few more things to think of, and leave the rest to you and Andrew. Just reverse them.
Sorry, for the rendering,
Color.
are you allowed to use the Photoshop?
Yeah, sure.
Use whatever you want, man. We're just showing you guys how to start it.
But that also means it gives you an sort of advantage for this. So now we have the background color adjusted, and let's think about what do we want to show in here. So the visibility setting is really going to be, and then want to show shade, put shadows on, and we want a lot of blurring, and we want ambient shadow, the shadow density to be a little bit lower, and objects, it's there's no lighting, scene lighting. Why is the color? Oh yeah, because we just need to change the display color here. Materials. Sorry, not materials. Yeah, layers. It's just got a simple ones first, and I guess it's this one. Let's just put it to white. Maybe a shade of gray. Not too bad, but not impressive either. Yeah.
Okay, what's missing? Look at the other drawing. No.
Light.
Just look at the
The
lighting.
outline.
What's missing?
Shadow.
The sun. Huh? Its intensity is quite low at the moment, Leo.
Yep.
I set it low. I get sunburn a lot, so I just dream of a world where the sun's only 10%.
Okay. And let's just
I can see the sun.
let's just pop up the outlines a little bit as well.
Well, if you use a clipping plane.
Yep. That'll give you automatic.
Yeah.
So clipping plane.
Has everyone used clipping planes yet or not?
Yeah. From the architecture policy.
And Leo, if you put that clipping plane on a black layer instead of a white one.
I don't even know which color layers are.
Okay, so because Rhino's a CAD package, they use layers.
Yep.
And so when you draw stuff on there, there's properties on that layer. So a black layer is going to draw black objects. Basically.
Where is my snap? Here we go.
And so Leo's just put a clipping plane in. Clipping plane's cutting a section through the 3D model. And you can slide that clipping plane like up and down and effectively cut that section. It's got the project on there. You've got a set project on.
No, you don't have to render it through Rhino.
This is just an example of what.
Yeah. And we can set a transparency here.
What do you want to use? What are your? Oh yeah. You use Blender.
Blender is good.
Yeah, this is the thing though.
Is the base render or something that we should use because of like
I don't use it,
yeah.
but you can use it. Look, the good thing about the base render in Rhino is it comes with Rhino. So like if you're working somewhere and they've only given you Rhino, then that's it. Or you're working privately and you can't be bothered paying for 3ds Max, or you just don't have enough time to use Blender, then it's there. That you can use it. So yeah, it's just
Okay, some more things we can change here is to change this from perspective to parallel. So when we look at isometric views, you can see all the lines are actually either parallel, like this one, and this one, and this one, they are all parallel. The reason is it doesn't have the three-point perspective.
there's actually a special
Here's
reason why isometric is so good. A special part of isometric, which is axonometric, and that is the distance that you would measure vertically is also the same
Equal.
distance that you would measure along the angles. And if you want to get a cheats way of doing isometric,
Mm.
in the view tab in the top, camera, does it say camera?
Oh no, you can just change the view property here in the property window.
Yeah, I know. Hang on.
Okay,
Just
the
hold on through.
orientation. Yep.
No, visibility.
What?
Oh, I know you're doing it too.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So you can either get it there in set view,
Yeah, it's
or
probably the other
also
direction.
in the icons under visibility at the top.
Icon visibility on the top.
No, not visibility,
It's
sorry.
probably set view.
Yeah, set view.
This
On
one.
the right, keep going. See, there's like a little compass looking thing next to the dude walking.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
Those are the different isometric ones that you can flip through.
Okay. Let's just come back to the parallel versus isometric. There is a middle ground called two-point perspective,
Doesn't exist.
which doesn't exist in the real world. Neither does isometric.
Yeah, it does. If you're a fly.
Yeah, but that's approximate. So you can see the vertical lines are all parallel to each other, which architects likes a lot. If you go to any photos of a building, see
Rendered.
Archid Daily.
Oh, yeah. That's
I don't know if I have
tilt,
printed.
tilt shift, 2-point perspective.
Yeah, it's something
Because they're insane.
because the vertical lines are parallel, so they give you a sort of reference.
Basically, architects have lived in an orthogonal world for most of history. So we've drawn in plan and we've drawn in section. And so when you go to 3D, you want to capture the actual architecture, not representing it as what it would look like as a render, like as a physical photograph, but rather represent it as like a representation of your building, right?
Because the architect, like the only thing the architect wants is to make it much more like artistic.
Well, what it's doing is it's saying, hey, the top of our building is going to have the same level of detail in this perspective image as the bottom of our building, and because of that, now people are like, it doesn't look good unless it's 2-point perspective.
So you can see here all the vertical lines are still vertical, but horizontal lines will sort of go to one point, to the vanishing point.
Yeah, it's a
There-
completely skewed view of the world.
There are two vanishing points. If you draw the line from the parallel edges, it will go to this point and this point here. So that's the 2-point of the two-point perspective. Coming back to the main story here, I think parallel and axonometric would be the best to
Me
represent
too.
for now.
It looks good.
Cute. It's very cute, right? And it just reminds you of so many good mobile games.
I'll do like long distance tilt shift photography.
Yeah. Let's just search for that as well. Yeah, tilt shift is beautiful because it's sort of being like turning a realistic world into axonometric or at least isometric. So it feels like you're looking at the Lego ground, and lots of people in design industry likes this kind of feeling. Okay, let's come back to the main topic. So now we have this one. I think maybe we should introduce the drafting view as well if we want to go any further. Let me see how far I want to. Street syntax. So which one would be street syntax? The one with all the building elements, the trees, and
It should be in that file you've got.
no,
and
I
the
closed it. We closed it, right?
It's in the same file.
It's in the same. Okay, cool.
If you go to plan view, it'll and just so it's
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So let's put some trees in there.
Now obviously you guys don't have these trees.
Are you happy to share?
I am. only because those trees are probably stolen from somewhere else.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can't even
so
copy
guys,
to move.
These trees they exist because of what is effectively the old style of architecture, which is drawing everything in 2D in a CAD package. So you can go find websites that host these, and most people put them up for free. So if you look up CAD blocks, CAD blocks, tree or whatever, you'll probably find a DWG file, which is an old school file format. I don't know what Leo's trying to do, but
Trying to extrude to give a little bit.
revolve it.
No, it will be
Pardon?
weird.
No,
Extrude curve.
you can use a 3D tree.
15. Yeah.
Is there any like minor plugins like for render?
For
I
what?
For rendering?
For rendering? Yep,
There
there's a
should be.
plugin called V-Ray.
Right.
Yeah.
Is-
So essentially you have to, I don't know, like collect the photos of the plants.
What?
vegetation.
What?
Like you gotta collect the moments of the vegetation. Cause isn't like after you download V-Ray, there's only like specific amounts of like photos, and if you wanna have
Oh yeah, it's not user friendly, man. It's V-Ray's for like professionals.
Here is for pros.
Yeah. If you want something user friendly that makes 3D stuff where you can just drop trees in, Enscape, yeah, you could use Enscape. You could use Twinmotion or Lumion. I'm literally going.
Yeah.
Enscape's literally at the bottom of all of that. Enscape's probably the worst.
What if you have ray tracing?
Huh?
What if you have ray tracing?
It's still the worst.
Here is my tree.
Ray tracing?
Yeah, I like things, but then that's
Yeah.
using close into
Look, Enscape is user friendly, right? Think about it like this. We're learning Rhino and Grasshopper. Is Rhino and Grasshopper user friendly? No. Now, you've all probably touched SketchUp once. Yeah. Is SketchUp user friendly? Now, what can you achieve with SketchUp? You can achieve stuff with SketchUp, but what can you achieve with Rhino and Grasshopper? Anything, right? But the thing is, you can achieve that anything in SketchUp, but it just takes a lot of effort. Now, Enscape is the same. You can achieve something with Enscape, but you don't have much control over it, and it might take a lot of effort to get something that's good. Whilst with V-Ray or with Twinmotion or Unreal or Blender or whatever, that gives you 100% control of your scene. It's not user-friendly, but you can achieve whatever you want. So it's really up to you what you want to decide for this, but long-term, I think you guys should aim to try and learn something that gives you control over the scene, over the user group.
Why am I still not able to see that
What are you trying to do?
in a shaded view?
The line.
Yeah.
Just preview curves. You just got to turn curves
Did
back.
I? Yeah, I think it's already in there.
So, but my display settings for go to right click here. Sorry, I do weird wacky things. Curves.
Curves.
It's
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's a block. Is it a block?
It's a block. It's block on as well.
It's 2D.
Yeah.
Is
Well, 3D is taking too much computational power. Right? If it's putting shadows.
yeah, it's because it's too small.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Yeah. Let's just scale it for the time being
Oh yes.
without knowing. Yeah. At least we got a tree.
So guys, just to explain what was happening there, why Leo couldn't see the tree, why none of us could see the tree. Rhino, because Rhino is effectively, it's a scaleless program, so it relies on a number called a float or a double in programming, which has a limited amount of digits in it. I think it's only allowed 32 digits. So if you've got something in 3D that is a long, long, long way from zero, or very, very, very small, then it has to basically cut the detail off the end of that to basically limit how much your digit is allowed. So if you've got a really, really small thing, it will round that down, and in this case the tree was so small that it had to be rounded down to the point where you couldn't see anything. There was no detail. And so scaling that up, we can see the detail.
It breaks.
It breaks, yeah, I can't really.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Thanks myself.
Andrew, what did we change just now?
What did I change?
Yeah. Why are my blocks?
Pardon?
Why are the blocks again black? All right, because I changed the color here. Yeah, looks like it's inevitable to get started on layers as well. We could potentially change the transparency of this one
Or we
separately.
could do another cookie.
Well, yeah, but you still want to see this building. Okay, show you another trick. Let's do a set object display mode.
对，我只是看到他觉得眼熟，然后就来显示，是他是走到我们俩的是这样子，我们俩都在这儿，他进来之后，这个
Ghosted.
开始坐在这儿。
Why is it not
I've
ghosted?
got base colors.
对，然后我看到
Ah,
看着很眼熟。
sorry, you got a question? Everything 3D into 2D, yes. Another way we can do this is to just flatten this drawing as a basis in make 2D. And we are able to select a view like this one. And we can put a layer, and it will just create a layer. Yeah. It's probably choosing the wrong layer. Yeah, it's actually looking from the bottom. So this is 2D now, and you can illustrate based on this one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we can just work on this.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I think what we should do is to get started with the profile, and once that's done, we can get deeper on just annotating and making this graphics a little bit prettier. But the core is still trying to get height and setbacks right for now.
Can you export the codes like after you make it to be like can you export the code as a master lines to Illustrator or?
Yep.
Yep. I think Illustrator takes DWG as well.
You can
You can-
export directly to AI files
Yeah.
in Rhino.
So essentially you can open DWG files from AI.
Let's check
Can
what
you change
happens.
the line weights as well?
You can export, huh?
Can you change the line weights of Rhino as well?
My recommendation is you should, the layers that come out of Illustrator, oh, you mean to go to Illustrator? You
no.
can change line weights in Rhino.
Oh, okay.
See there's a print width on the right?
Yeah.
Leo, can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
This here.
See there's like, you can change the thicknesses there. The thing is, that's not going to actually change anything in your display unless you turn on a specific setting, which is print display, which you can type print display, and then you have to toggle the state to on. And then what that will do is it will, because the line weights on the right in the layers panel is based on the print widths when you go to print, and because the screen, and so that's in millimeters, but the screen is going to show lines based on a pixel width. What Rhino does is it tries to map the thicknesses of the widths to like a rough truncation of line weights. So in that line weight specification dialog that Leo had up, you can kind of see, rather than picking a number, you're probably actually better off just picking what visibly looks like the right weight that you want, and that will show up as that weight in the display port.
Okay.
And don't get me started on line weights, the history of line weights.
Well, that's one thing that architects will always emphasize too much on. And I'm hoping with the same script, you can just add a little bit extra functionalities to give an array of trees at a distance that we can change later on.
Where should you change it like that? Should you change it in Rhino or should you change it in
If you're using Illustrator, the best way to do is to
Illustrator.
So can you output from the lines from the isometric view to Illustrator?
You can. So Leo showed you before, he used the function called make 2D.
Look, so
Yep.
is the scale patches between Rhino and Illustrator?
Pardon?
Is the scale over kind of thing? It's like
What's the scaling? When it comes to isometric, you can do a scale drawing in isometric and it will work. If you're doing a perspective drawing, then give up. There's no such thing as scale and perspective because
yeah,
it
anyway.
changes size as you move on. But what do you mean?
I mean, like, because I'll try to export the lines from a Rhino to Illustrator. Like, the line weight changes while I exporting while I import.
Yeah, so my recommendation is when you're exporting from Rhino to Illustrator, you need to make sure that you are using layers. So all the different line weights that you want, like the different line properties, should be on different layers when you go to export. Those layers will show up in Illustrator, and then you can select objects by layer in Illustrator. So Leo's doing that right now. He's going to do a make 2D. By the way, make 2D is also controllable inside Grasshopper. There's a make 2D component in the display portion, but I don't believe it will consider clipping planes, whilst this one will. There's a whole bunch of settings in there. You can tell it to include hidden lines on their own layer, and all of that type of stuff. So that's what Leo's.
So this is basic. Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, this is basically how you get all the backlines here. For example, for this building here, you probably don't want to show it with the full shade. So you want to show the hidden line instead behind it. So you get a reference. And you can show probably things. Sorry, Andrew, how to pronounce this correctly?
Silhouette.
Silhouette, yes. Thanks for the pronunciation. So you can emphasize on the outline of this one here, which is going to be very similar to the outline here. Okay.
And I can already tell you now, that image that we just saw, the one that Leo brought up, is probably an Illustrator line work drawing laid over a render.
Yep. Is that right?
Since it's going to be raster, because we're rendering it, it's going to be rasterized, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter
No.
if we use an Illustrator.
No, it doesn't matter.
Trace over.
Yeah. So many people obsess over vector versus raster. At the end of the day, I'm going to be looking at these images on a 72 DPI screen, or I'm going to print them out on a 300 DPI printer. So it's cool if it's raster, as long as it's high definition enough to look good at. If you're doing a web, like a screen presentation, then it only needs to be 72 DPI.
I think I have wrongly selected all the trees, and it's taking forever to export these trees. Not export, converting to 2D from a 2D tree in a 45-degree angle. I escaped.
Just new laptops,
Okay, actually I think it worked partially. Here. Behind it.
So, Gary, see how it's made a layer called Make 2D?
Yep.
All of the objects in that, you should keep them. Well, the thing is, it's
probably
separating
changed,
them based on the type of object it is. But then it's also separating it based on the layer that it came from, I believe.
So it keeps the original layers.
It can. You can tell it to do that if you want. It will try. The problem is what happens when you've got two objects on separate layers. The interface between them, what layer does it belong to? So I'm not sure it does that. But I know the section tool does. So Leo is exporting that to what?
No, I'm not exporting it, just because I make 2D for the trees.
I thought it finished.
Yeah. But I selected it.
Okay.
You sure this is 2080?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a laptop.
Yeah.
Laptops are always going to be compromised hardware.
True.
Always. Tom's experiencing that right now.
Okay, let's just yeah, I haven't exported anything yet. Let's just come back to this graph and think about what more can be added to this graph. So now we have a solid line, we have section lines, and we know that we can change the layers and the width of these cutting sections. We know that we can array a set of trees down the road. We know that we can overlay lines where there is a height change on top of it. And we know that we can overlay an image of rendered massing block over behind the actual line works to make it a little bit more prettier. We know how to change the shadow, sort of. And I think that sums up how we can approach this one here.
But there's one thing I would like you guys to include on this drawing, or at least somewhere in the assignment, and that is a section of your building that then tells us what the area of the floor plate is per level.
Yep.
Because that's the effectively the thing that's going to control your floor space ratio.
Yes.
So you could use this street section diagram if you want to do that, if your building is simple enough.
You can do something more like this to diagram, or maybe make a table.
Or you can also export that information to a table, as Leo mentioned.
Yep.
Leo, have you ever exported stuff to TSV or CSV from Grasshopper?
Just using Launchbox and Excel export.
Do you want to try that?
Let's do it.
Maybe
later.
Just fire another rhino up.
Okay. Oopsie. Let me close this one. Sorry, your computer is giving me a hard time, or vice versa. This is let's do something really quick. Okay.
What brand is it?
XPS 13, and I got the 15. It's just like the graphics card burned up on the first one, and now this much scratch.
It's just like the one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just over it.
AI.
Yeah, it's AI.
We bought 20 new laptops recently from Dell, and 15 of them had problems.
Good on Dell. I saw there's massive sale on Dell's official website. I was considering if I should get one.
That's what I got this for, 20% off, but then it just fucking crashes. And you need to get you one.
Save 20%.
20% off.
I've noticed the back ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said mine.
Just.
Yeah, I'm a desktop man. It's all about the desktops. Why do I have a laptop? Don't ask me. No? Oh, no, why do I have a laptop like that? The $6,000 laptop.
The company paying for the laptop.
I don't want that though.
You have to keep the code stuff inside the laptop, right?
Huh?
You have to keep your codes.
I'd rather have my personal laptop and remote into a Cox computer, but they won't let you remote into a Cox computer with a personal laptop. Until recently, because of COVID.
Thank COVID.
I've owned this thing prior to COVID. And it's almost out of warranty, and I'm going to throw it in the bin. Oh, can I have it? You don't want it? How much you pay? How much you going to pay? We can talk about that later. Okay.
Okay, I'm just constructing something really silly here to report in area.
Okay,
And
so just to explain, someone somewhere is asking you to design a building, and they care about that floor space ratio, they care about how much area you've got. And somewhere in your report, in this PDF that you're gonna send issue in 2 weeks' time, we need to see how much area that building has as a total, and also how much area that building has per floor. And that can be done either through a drawing or through an Excel table, something like that. So that's what Leo's about to set up.
so, from my memory of last week's work, we used intersecting
Yep.
planes to make poly curves out of the building massing. And basically it's the same idea of just getting a random poly curve here and evaluate its area. And now this becomes the data. And we just need to put a path on here as well, right? And a few other things, of course. So this is Launchbox Write Excel. This works most of the time. I don't know why sometimes the CSV doesn't work, and there is another export Excel, it doesn't really work either. But this one is relatively better, so I recommend this one. Unless Andrew says otherwise.
I do say otherwise.
Sorry?
I do say otherwise, but I'm not going to say otherwise.
No, come on, tell me. I want to learn as well. Which one would you recommend?
I prefer exporting raw data to TSV.
Okay, let's try TSV this time.
So how would you, no, don't use a plugin. How would you export to TSV?
I have no idea. How? Oh, right, okay, there's another way. Tricky, eh?
Yeah,
So copy data
yeah, that's one way.
and paste. There we
No.
go.
That's it.
That's it.
Now, how do you do that in Grasshopper without having to copy and paste? So if you right-click that panel, there should
Stream?
be a stream contents.
Yeah, you can stream, which is the
And
same.
you
Yeah.
can literally tell Grasshopper to write a text file. You can even change the export to to CSV, and you can type whatever. And then now if you run, you have to run the script again. Unfortunately, I don't think it does it immediately.
Okay.
Just
Recompute.
or F5. Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Now there's a file where you told it to save.
Did I
Where did you pick?
stream destination? This
Desktop.
one.
You're in Dublin.
Oh,
Oh no, there's desktop.
okay, let's just search for that Hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay. Sort by name. I really think your computer hates me.
It does.
Okay. Let's try again.
Save.
Save.
Just rerun that
Refresh.
last component. Yeah. Like re-enable it.
Okay. Disable and enable.
Now there should be a file there.
Supposedly.
8.5.
Let's go back.
Sort by date. What?
Let's just use the Excel exporter.
No, I hate it.
It's
I
more
hate it so
stable.
much. Because not everyone has Excel.
Oh yeah.
Stream contents needs to be on. It was off.
Oh okay.
See that's a toggle?
Yep.
Now that it's on, is it on? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
Prove me right. There it is.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a CSV file.
Yep.
One other thing, just a little trick. Rather than opening that in Excel, which I think you've just done, but it's fine. Just open Excel.
Yep.
Open a new Excel. The thing about Excel is, if that data ever changes, your Excel doesn't change, right? Because Excel's opening the CSV file. So unfortunately, can you open Excel again?
Oh.
Just open Excel.
Yeah.
I'll just show you a trick. So rather than opening your CSV or TSV or whatever Excel file, it's not going to update. Rather than doing that in Excel, if you go to Data in the top bar and Get Data from Text CSV, it's the second icon, and you go pick that CSV file. That'll give you a few options on how you want to load the information in. So in this case, there's no headers or anything like that. You can transform the data if you really want. You can delve deep. But if you load that now, if we go and change the model in Grasshopper,
Okay. So I'm gonna change it now. Which the number?
okay, and now in Excel, see there's like a little refresh button in the areas export and the queries to the right there. There's like a little page. There's a page
To the right. The one
right
line.
down there. Hit that button and it's updated. Okay? So what I find is a lot of people that I work with, they only use Excel. They don't use Grasshopper. And if you give them a CSV or a TSV, they go, what the fuck's this? Right? If you give them an Excel file that has a link to your data, and as you change it, they can refresh it and see the outcomes, it's a far better situation for them to work out what's going on, like to do stuff. Yeah.
So if I save this Excel file of notes,
It'll-
essentially,
It'll save the link.
you'll save the link, so
Yeah.
I'll reopen it, I can just do the same thing.
It'll reset.
All right.
Cool?
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay. I think we should leave some time for practice and answering questions.
Yeah, so what that means is, right now, it's 1 o'clock.
Mm.
We've got 50 minutes, because let's say 55, because I've got to disappear into a meeting at 2 o'clock, to work on the stuff that we've been doing today. And in doing so, you guys will run into problems. And you've got Leo and me to ask questions. Okay? Don't get me started on my rants. You know I like to rant. You've gotten used to that?
Yep.
So I'm only going to answer questions relevant to this particular work.
Okay.
And I'm saying that for myself more than for you. I'm going to force myself not to get distracted.
I'm gonna mark the PowerPoint, bookmark it, and send it to you, so you get a reference for this point.
And then turn the lights. Yeah.
Some small question regarding the tests. I think some question is still a bit off.
Okay. Don't worry about it. It's a if as long as you do the test, it's a flat mark. So it's all good. Does it, internet people, are you still good? Post questions to the Slack instead of to the chat, because Leo and I will have that on our phones.
Do we need to add ourselves to that, or are we all in this?
Are you in? I did invite you guys to that code 2132. Leo's writing there now.
Check if you can receive that from
That's me.
Andrew. Yeah. Here are plenty of them. I
Dude,
can.
that's huge.
Yeah. I can keep talking about this for ages. Yep.
Previous examples from last year's work?
Sorry?
Do you have examples from last?
I
There
think
was no last year.
There was no last year.
There was a different
Digital
course.
content is very different for this year.
Right.
Last year was
So-
actually Giannis. Giannis? Oh,
Yeah.
that was